Today is World Backup Day, a day created to encourage everyone to back up their files at least once a year. The idea here, a simple one, to take a day to highlight one of those critical but mundane tasks that everyone knows they should do, but never quite gets around to doing, right? Joining us now with more is expert Depesh Saxena. Thanks for joining us here. So let's talk a little bit here about why World Backup Day is so important, why it's so critical, especially in today's day and age, to make sure all your files, your data out there is backed up.
Sure. Yeah. And thank you for having me here. I think backup today, it's more about data.
Okay.
We are such a data-driven society, and all businesses depend on data today. So having data that's backed up for you is critical, not just because your systems are going to be down or anything. It can cost your business today.
Okay.
That's the importance of data. There was a time when data used to be just about, your machine would go down or your software would be corrupted. But today, it's about everything. We store all kinds of data today, and we live on that. So it's very important to back it up and do it at the right frequency and make sure that, it's available when you really need it.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned businesses, obviously really important and key for them. What about just the everyday person? I know I probably have all sorts of files that I don't have backed up that I should, but
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about the difference between businesses and, just everyday consumer out there.
So personally, again, we've again become dependent on data.
Mm-hmm.
Our pictures, our videos, our passwords, our, documents that we keep, our health records, our financial records, everything is in the form of data. So it's equally important that we have that backed up because you never know when you would need it. Mm-hmm. And we actually work out of that for everything. So it's really important at the personal level that we back that up so that when you need it, you're at a doctor's place and you want to show your, medical card, it's there on your phone. If it's not backed up and you lose your phone, it's gone.
Okay. So you have a helpful tip for people, which you call the 3-2-1 rule. Talk to us a little bit about that, because this was interesting. I found so important for me because there's been plenty of times I've been at a doctor's office and I thought I had it on my phone, thought I had it, a physical form of some sort, but I didn't.
Yeah. So it's called the golden rule, the 3-2-1 rule, where you're supposed to have at least 3 copies of your data, including your original. That's the 3. 2 is you back it up at least in 2 different media.
Okay.
And 1 is that you actually store it off site so that if something happens to your office or to your place where it's stored, you have some way to get it back. What we at CMIT suggest is a 1-0 after that. And that's basically where we say you have 3 copies, you have 2 medias, you store it off-site, but we add to that you actually have it offline or you have it air-gapped so that today, because of all the things being available online, if your data backup is also online, it's equally prone to being hacked. So you actually you air-gap it and you put it in a place where people can't reach it. And the 0 is basically you need to make sure that it's error-free.
Okay.
Because you might have your backups, but if they're not error-free and they've already got malware, it's as good as not having anything available.
Okay, that's
so it's equally important to actually make sure that the data is good, that you backed up.
Okay. So what are some of the dangers as far as not performing that backup? If you have none of these, what are you looking at as far as risks when it comes to not having this information?
So the risk, again, is very high because of the dependence.
Okay.
And the risk is not just about, your software not running or your machine being down. It's actually losing your business because we really work out of data for everything. So the risk is very high, because of which cybercrime, this is the prime target today.
Right, yeah. A lot
Hackers,
of
ransomware, they actually look at your backups. They look at your data and they encrypt that so that when you want to actually get a backup and if it's not protected well, there's no way that you can get your business back.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so a lot on the line here. Any last-minute quick tips you can give to viewers at home?
I think one thing which is happening today because of softwares being available online, those days when you had softwares running on your server or your machine are gone, everything is online.
Okay.
You subscribe to it. Make sure that you ask the question about whether your data is backed up. We assume that because it's on a cloud or because your application is something which is online, it's all safe. make sure that you ask that question if it's backed up, because it may not be backed up.
Okay.
And that's your responsibility, because data is something that you own.
All right. Well, there you go. I was literally just thinking in my head, apparently the cloud is not enough. I need to be doing more. All right. Thank you so much for joining us here, Steve. Some big tips going into the weekend. Maybe if you got some extra time, go ahead and back up all that information that's so important.